This is WPSL Port St. Lucie, the talk of the Treasure Coast.
The views expressed on the following program are not necessarily those of WPSL. However, we're the ones that have encouraged you all along, since day one, as a matter of fact, to like and share them on your favorite social media and with all your friends and neighbors, because Burt Goulding's in the house today. It's Joanne's World of Nutrition with Joanne Seeger.
Good morning, everyone. Happy Wednesday. Cliff, I have a weird question for you. How long have you been doing this?
Oh my goodness! Since dinosaurs roamed the earth, actually, since I'll tell you what, this very studio in mid-August. Wow.
Yep, it's mid-August.
Well, we're just past the 15th. The 15th of August, okay. 1979.
Nice. Wow.
I stepped into this studio, into this microphone once, first time ever.
Yeah, it's definitely in your blood. Yeah, you definitely do it well. So that's awesome. Well, congrats on your anniversary. I love it. All right, everyone. It's that wonderful time that we have Burt Goulding Jr. on air with us. Good morning, Burt. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good. Well, I'm going to make a couple announcements and you'll be able to tell how I'm doing, right? So we are opening up our second location and I've become a multitasking diva as well. I know, I guess diva does it well and with her nails polished. My nails are all not polished, so. But yes, we're opening up a second location, Burt, and it is going to be in Port St. Lucie, which for my store now, Fort Pierce, it's about 30 minutes away. Big, busy city. I live in Port St. Lucie, and wow, I mean, everyone that lives there is kind of like in disbelief. Every time you turn right to left, forward, back, it's like a new apartment complex, a new home. It's like the greenery is getting a little bit less and thousands of people. So so I'm looking forward to meeting lots of new customers, waiting on one final inspection. I keep hearing in my mind the 28th. That's when I'll be able to legally open the doors. So the 28th. So pray for me, okay, Burt?
Yes. Yeah. Wow. How exciting.
It is. It used to be a Little Sons of Italy, and it was like a meeting hall. And they did such a beautiful job. I mean, really, like all the workmanship was just done so well. And so beautiful wood floors, chandeliers, kind of like a industrial looking ceiling, but they painted it. It's gorgeous. And so I'm playing off that with wooden shelves. And Burt, you know what I did? I ordered my shelving to have wheels on it. And why did I do that? So when you spread them all to the sides, then it's a lecture room and we can fit like 100 people. So you have to come and visit and present a lecture for us, okay? But it's so cool because there's like this big back area that everyone can face, and we have this beautiful big screen that we're going to use for our lectures, and we're going to try to make them as often as possible. Because you know, like us, we want to spread the word, not just sell stuff. We want to help educate people. So I'm really excited. So if you have any questions about the new location or any specifics, you know, you can call Fort Pierce right now, 772-464-3598. And the new location will be on the corner of Port St. Lucie Boulevard and Cameo. So we're really Cocoa Vista Plaza, super excited. So yes, and then of course, all the kids started back at school, and I almost cracked up. My daughter just texted me. So I basically drive 6 people to different locations each day besides going to work. Okay, 6 people. And my daughter says, Mom, this boy at school, he never has a ride to school. Is there any way you could pick him up? And I'm like, send me his address, let me look. And of course, it's 11 miles in the wrong direction. And I'm like, just say no, Joanne, just say no. So I haven't replied yet because no is tough for me. But so yeah, so hopefully I'll get inspired to just say no. Like, oh my gosh. All right,
it's even harder when you get grandchildren.
Well, that's the thing, my grandson bringing him to the school, and oh yes, it's an adventurous day. But you know what? It's less time on the couch. Bert, did you hear that sitting for 3 hours a day is like smoking a pack of cigarettes? Have you heard that statistic?
I have had I and sitting is probably my downfall.
Me too. Oh my gosh, it's terrible. Now that I'm doing so much coaching, I love it. I feel blessed, but I'm like on my rump all day long, and it's like, wait, I can feel my belly over my thighs. This is not good.
Uh,
But yeah, so sitting, they say, is so bad. So I have this little reminder. So if they say if for 5 minutes per hour, you get up and you move, and I have a mini rebounder right in my office. You just move your body. So if you're at a desk right now, or you're just sitting a lot, whether you're scrolling or watching Netflix, just take breaks. Just take some breaks. Get up, stretch, do some deep breathing, go see what grass and trees look like again, and just move your body because, yeah, we don't want a sedentary lifestyle kill us when we're trying to, take all these good supplements and eat all this healthy food. Yeah. It's hard though. Netflix has a lot of good movies now, Bert. It's really hard. It's like I come home and my son will be like, "Mom, you got to try this show." And then of course I pull it up and it says 6 seasons. I'm like, "Okay, there's 3 months out of my life gone again."
yeah.
All right, what about with you, Bert? Well, how's life? How's everything going?
Good, good. I've added back in a little bit more exercise. Sometimes I just get really busy, and then I say, well, I just have to find time, and
Yep.
and you can if you get up even earlier. So some days I'm up at 3:30 so that I can go take a long walk
Wow.
and then get back and still get back here to the plant. And
Get your day done.
yeah,
Wow. Is walking your favorite exercise? Do you like weight training?
I do weight training. I guess what I try to do is fit as much exercise into as few minutes as possible. So when I do uh, like my 2 or 3 mile walk, uh, I'm not walking fast, but I have dumbbells in each hand, and I'm doing some really intense upper body work while I'm walking.
Oh, you're one of those guys. I've seen you guys out there. It's like, all right, they're dedicated. I love it.
Yeah, at one point I thought, this is really interesting. And so I looked up on the Guinness Book of World Records as to, there has to be some world record for dumbbell curls, and found out it was like 120,000 pounds that was curled in 1 hour by a person in Ireland. So basically, if you have like a 10-pound dumbbell, each time you curl it, it's 10 pounds, right? So you do that 1,000 times, you've done 10,000. So I finally got up to my 1 hour record for me was 38,000 pounds. So, I
Do
get
you
to add,
soar the next day?
I build up really slowly, and I finally got to that point. So no, at that point, I quadrupled my weight. So you asked what my favorite one, that's that. And when I go to the gym, they're open 24 hours, which is a wonderful thing. So when I get in at 3 a.m., there's not that many people in the gym. And then I do all kinds of weightlifting, and, but I start out with light weights. The key for me, especially at my age, is not to go in and do really heavy weights, but it's to do a lot of the lighter weights. So that's me.
I love it. That's a great idea. And, some people think it has to be all or nothing. And I definitely know that that is not true. We keep weights randomly around the house, and sometimes I'll just pick them up and just be like, okay, let's just, move our body, just really, any amount of lifting weight or movement is worth it, any amount versus zero. So Bert is a clinical nutritionist calling us very early from California. He has blessed our show with his multiple appearances now for a while, teaching us all about healing and phenomenal supplements. And so today, I think we're going to talk about sleep, energy, and getting more greens into our diet. It's so hard, Bert. Holy moly. Like, I really try to eat vegetables and I love vegetables. I mean, I love them. If someone served a big platter to me like every 3 hours, I would devour them. I love every vegetable there is. Love them raw, plain, cooked, steamed, doesn't matter. But boy, no restaurants really serve them anymore. It's like you get like that standard tomato and iceberg, and that's about it. Sometimes, grease-filled green beans, but it's hard. It's really hard. So definitely want to talk about like how to get more greens into you. And I do want to mention back to school and that multitasking. It's really a drain on my energy. And so I'm asking you personally, so the cell power, I always start with the one serving in the morning. Can I take that all day long? Like, can I just keep right now? Because I gave up caffeine, like you suggested, and it's been phenomenal. Like, I really feel so much better. But this store setup and all these ordering and trying to figure out placements, I mean, it's a lot of brain work. So can I just do the cell power all day long?
Yes, for adults, the ideal amount would be 6 servings during the day, and that's pretty much all day long.
Okay, yeah, that's all day long. Okay.
Yeah. And yeah, it helps the body with um, getting enough hydrogen to run the immune system, but also a lot of oxygen that will get to the bloodstream. And you're just so full of energy today. Maybe it's the new store, maybe it's trying to give rides to everybody in the neighborhood. I don't know, but
Yeah. Yeah, the adrenaline is in overdrive. And that's why I never needed caffeine. I can't even imagine, like, I can't even, the days that I was just buzzing inside and felt like my heart was going to burst. I don't know why I needed, someone else to say, Joanne, give up caffeine, but I did. So thank you for that. And man, I feel, even though I have a lot of energy right now, I call it my 12 o'clock. So from 5 a.m. to 12. I feel like I can paint a house. I can build things, but then after 12, whew, and I'm not eating during the day anymore because I always don't make time for food. And then, of course, doing that terrible, even though it's okay food, I'm doing it late night. And then, whew, the pounds come on with that. So, yeah, I need a counseling session, Bert. You and I later. Yeah. So,
well, what I love about what you're saying right now is that taking care of our bodies and maintaining good health or improving our health, it's a lot of work. So for people that are kind of like, oh, I don't know if I want to do that, putting drops in my drinking water is just so much work. I've had people tell me that.
watching
They
those
go,
drops drip. Oh my
you
God,
know,
it's so tedious.
I know, and yet you just choose. You either do that extra work or you choose not to, I
Right?
mean,
It's a choice. Yeah.
and if especially when a person gets to the point where they're like, oh, I would walk more, but it's just so painful. And since it's painful, I just don't walk. And I have a good friend who's a fire and rescue worker his whole life, and he retired and now lives up in the forests of a national park. And so he was talking to a friend at church, and he had seen that she had gone from kind of walking slowly, and then she didn't maintain her posture, and she kind of got bent over, and then she had a walker, and pretty soon he talked to her and he said, you're going the wrong direction, and within a year or two, you're not going to be able to even move. And she goes, it's just painful. And he goes, well, he said, suck it up. It's just do it. Just, say, yeah, it's painful. And so you can even say it out loud, like, yeah, this is pain, but I'm maintaining my body. He said she actually responded to what he was telling her. And within 3 months, she didn't have the walker. She had good posture. She was walking more. And he says, well, how does it feel? And she goes, yeah, it still hurts, but I'm doing it. And it is getting a little better. And I thought, yeah, the more that you do good things, the better it gets. You know, for people who have
Absolutely.
indigestion or heartburn or whatever it is, the more that you eat correctly and you get good, clean drinking water and just get rid of bad habits, just the better that it feels. And it's not overnight, but you just say, I'm going to do it whether it feels great or whether it doesn't. Now, I'm not saying don't listen to your body. Obviously, you listen to your body, you do what you can, but it's just too easy, like you had started to talk about, sitting
Yep.
to start sitting more and moving around or walking less. And within a year or sometimes if you're in your 60s or 70s, within 3 months, your whole body starts to um, collapse
Respond.
as far as your structure, as far as your
Absolutely.
yeah.
And one thing that I tell my clients, it's kind of like how my water rule, I try to make it as easy as possible. Same thing, I ask them, on each hour, just kind of like close your eyes and take, about 5 minutes worth of deep breaths. And sometimes they struggle with that the most. Like, when I touch base with them, they're like, oh, yeah. I said, okay, can you just try first thing in the morning and before bed if you can't do it hourly? And it's still like a struggle. It's kind of like we're so in that pattern of the slouch, the recline, the just that position where it takes no muscular tone, and it's really difficult for people even just to use their lungs. So I always say, okay, take one breath for me, one deep breath. Then start there. Just yeah, as I'm trying to sit up straight, but yeah, so the cell power, let's tell everyone what we're talking about. So Positive Power has cell power, and we do have your brochures, which are very lengthy and informative at the store. Cell Power's been around how long, Bert?
This is the 75th year of Cell Power. It was finally used as a dietary supplement after using it for 2 or 3 years with plants and gardens and pets and livestock and everything else. So in 1949, started being used as a dietary supplement, and we're so excited to be up to year 75.
That is great. That looks really good on labels, by the way. Like whenever I see like 75 years, I'm pretty impressed. I'm like, okay, very competitive market, and it's easy to use. It's liquid. So I am going to go up to 6 servings a day. I did break my glass cup, so I have metal with me today, which I hate metal cups. I don't know how all these people love them so much. I know it keeps the water cold, but it keeps it too cold. And I just don't like feeling the metal on my lip. Oh, yuck. So yes, okay. So the cell power, and I want to mention to people, so whether you're like me and just feeling a little bit lack of energy in the afternoons, it also helps with your pH balance, lung function, digestive system, supple skin, joint mobility, memory function, muscle recovery. So those are pretty impressive things, Bert. I love that. And I know that it works. And I've been selling it for years, even way before you came on the radio with me. So you want to tell everyone how it's made so they can understand what this stuff is?
Yes, it takes a minimum of 7 months to make one batch of Cell Power. So, and right now what we're shipping is double strength Cell Power. So that means it takes a year and 7 months. So it has fruits, vegetables, and vegetable protein that is mixed together, put in the sunlight, and then it dissolves and breaks down to such a small degree that the matter, as it dissolves, converts to energy. So it's filled with electrical energy, and that's really what a person is getting is very, very compatible electrical energy because it comes from sunlight and from the natural fruits and vegetables. It's the electricity of nature.
Yep,
So
which we're made of.
yeah,
You need to connect with it. Yep.
that's how it's made. So since it takes a year and 7 months for us to produce a batch, we're working on stuff that's going to be out in 2026 before it gets shipped.
Wow.
But every bottle of cell power we measure, it needs to have a minimum of 450,000 microvolts of electricity in the concentrated formula in the bottle before it gets shipped out. And then the amazing thing, I mean, the part that just stumps most scientists, especially when they do the measurements themselves, is like, how can putting 4 drops in 16 ounces of water energize all 16 ounces of purified or distilled water within 10 seconds after you mix the two together? All of the water is at the same high energy that the cell power concentrated started at. And it just starts a process of splitting the H2O molecule, and then it recombines, and splitting it recombines. And it'll do that in your glass. Have you ever held up a glass with the cell power in it and saw the little teeny bubbles in it?
Oh yeah.
Oh
Yep.
my goodness, just filled with it, because it's that energy it's that cycle. And then it helps that cycle get started in our bodies of we get energy to function, to live on, when the body splits the water molecule into 2 hydrogen ions and 1 oxygen ion. And then when it recombines, the free hydrogen, free oxygen recombines back into water, H2O, we get more energy. And it just has that cycle going on, and you can see it in your glass before you even drink it. So
I love that. Yeah, I love how you get so excited when you talk about it. It's so awesome. And you know what, Bert, I want to mention to a lot of listeners, because sometimes my customers, they have that little light bulb moment when I talk about the cell power and energy. Most people think when you say the word energy, okay, for me to go to work, or for me to mow the lawn, or me to like go out with friends after work, extra energy, right? But your body needs energy every second for trillions of functions. So for a new cell to be created, for to get rid of the waste of an old cell, to help the kidneys get rid of all your poisons, like the body is requesting energy. And we all know that our Dunkin' Donuts coffee and bagel and our little turkey sub and our like meatball and spaghetti ain't cutting it, and it's not giving us the kind of energy the body is craving to make us thrive, to make us feel vital again, not just like, slumpy. So that's what I love when people look at me and go, yeah, wow, my body needs energy too, not just for me to do extra. So yeah, I love that. I love cell power so much. But Bert, what I want to talk about next is these little guys. So I'm holding up positive energy boosters. We have a lot of the little packs, like I call it like a beginning pack, just because some people are used to buying energy things for a day, at the stores. But when I gave up caffeine, I was really nervous. I was really nervous. I wasn't drinking it too long. It was only like about 12 14 years. Not like I started at 12 or something, but I was really hooked. I remember the beginning days, I did 1 ounce. And then, a month later, I was doing 2 ounces. And all of a sudden, I was doing, 24 ounces a day, in these beautiful cups, and making it like the celebration of the day. So the positive energy boosters really help take the edge off. I don't use them every day now, but I do love knowing that if I am in a little slumpy feeling, even in my mood, I like taking it just to feel like I have more circulation, I can focus better. So can you tell everyone why these are so special?
Well, for people that have had, many, many years, a decade or more of coffee drinking, the positive energy boosters will help nourish and revitalize the adrenal glands. So when people have just worn out their adrenal glands, I mean, if you reach a point, and this is really prevalent now. I mean, this is not just a few people. It's as much as 10 or 15% of the population during their lifetime will hit a point where it's called adrenopause. Okay, and the adrenal glands, it takes 7 years to come back online and be normal again. And what can really speed that up and help you out in the meantime is the positive energy booster has all those herbs, and it has the niacin in it and the B12 but it has a formula that helps nourish the adrenals and help them uh, get better faster.
Right, and the adrenal glands are these tiny little beautiful glands that sit on top of the kidneys. And like Bert and I always emphasize making sure you're hydrated, but not just with water. So the problem is a lot of people might drink water all day, but the water could actually be making the kidneys work harder. So it's really, really important, and no coincidence that the energy function of the adrenal glands are right on top of the kidney, right? You have all this space in the body that confuses scientists. What does all this space do, right? You know, the organs only take up a small space, but that's all energy there that's helping just create you each and every day and reinventing you each and every day. So you want to nourish those little glands. You want to not stimulate them with stress and fear and anguish and impatience. And you want to nourish them, love, peace, all that hippie stuff, right, guys? And you want to take some of these botanicals that are in this formula. It is an adrenal formula for sure, but it just so happens it gives you balanced, smooth energy. That's what I like. That's the difference. So that other junk that you buy at the stores that you drink, they're stimulating your adrenal system, and then it could lead to what the adrenopause that you mentioned and take long time to recover from that. So you got to be really careful about those energy drinks. Bert and I have mentioned that a million times on the show. Yeah, that's my nemesis, Bert. Those stupid energy drinks, man. I see
Yeah.
them. Oh my God, the girls are in high school now, ninth and 10th grade. I see them all like 6 o'clock in the morning already walking with those, 20, 24-ounce cans. It makes me cry. I literally want to go out with a picket fence and be
Very
like,
bizarre
you know,
ingredients, too.
it is. I mean, and no one looks at the ingredients. They look at the color, and that's it. And a lot of these kids don't even like the taste. They don't even like it. They just get hooked on the caffeine.
You
Ugh,
know, and,
frustrating.
and well, it is frustrating, and yet, they can look towards adults and say, they do their coffee in the morning, and I do my cold non-coffee. Uh, I mean, and the so-called energy drinks. I mean, the original formula was came up. They put it together. A pharmaceutical company out in Singapore was the first one that figured out that if you put sucrose and caffeine with a couple of amino acids, that you can actually cause the body to uh, create a crazy, what feels like an energy burst, but that's because it causes the brain fluid, which has so much energy in it, because that's what keeps our brain functioning and, a much higher voltage than the rest of the body. And so it causes some of that to come back down into the body. And for each drop, it makes a person feel kind of wild, crazy, like energy.
Yep.
But you're just robbing it from yourself. So what happens is that when I see the high school students having that for breakfast, it's the only thing they've had for breakfast is a can of that poison that depletes the brain fluid. I They're already reporting cases of Alzheimer's in people in their mid-20s. Why?
Absolutely.
Because you've already started to destroy the whole pathway of how the energy flows and how the brain functions. So anyway, the positive energy boosters are amazing capsules. They have a history back into the 1970s, just like your our engineer here that, that did that. So it was in 1977, and so there's now been over 3 billion capsules that have been sold.
Wow.
And yeah, for a long time, I was working with a lot of professional truck drivers that do the long haul, the big semis clear across the country. And it got to the point where a lot of the trucking companies were purchasing in bulk the positive energy boosters and giving them to all of the truckers that would drive during the night, because it would keep them alert, um, and yet not prevent them from going to sleep when they needed to.
Right, and not give them a heart attack. So
Yeah,
what a
yeah,
concept.
yeah. It's
Not
this.
destroy their kidneys, and
Yeah.
oh, that is wonderful. You make really good formulas, Bert. So let's go back to the greens conversation, okay? So with the greens, so you make an amazing formula. So tell me how that came about. Was it because you weren't eating enough vegetables? What was it?
No, no. What happens is that we don't make any products that are just a Me Too product. And there seems to be so many, I don't know how many thousands of different brands of greens that you can put into your smoothies or generally it comes in powder. This is in capsules so that it's easy for a person to take without having to stop and make the smoothie and do the cleanup. I mean, really, the biggest thing for me is when I want to do a protein shake or anything else is the time it takes to make it and the time to clean up. I can't just leave stuff and walk out the door. So with this, it's very easy to get it. But the reason that at first I said, well, we're never going to do a greens formula because there's already 2,000 different greens formulas. But this one was such high energy. So when we put the ingredients together and started doing it, we measure the subtle energy in terms of Bovis energy scale. So it's a subtle energy, meaning it's at the right wavelength. It's energy the body can do. So when you've got things like broccoli and kale and all of the nopal cactus, all the things that are in there, they have pretty good energy, but it's at like 25,000 to 30,000, whereas distilled water is kind of the benchmark. It's at 7,500. So if you get anything below 6,500, it actually is an energy drain. It gets to the point where it just starts lowering the energy human body. So this formula, and I think it's because it has not just barley grass and wheat grass and oat grass. But then we also put into it the powder of just the juice of the wheat grass. So it has wheatgrass juice that's been dehydrated, has that powder in there. The energy came up to 3,700,000. 3,700,000. So at that point, I always have this idea is like, I know it's going to take a lot of work. Do I really want to come out with another formula and stock it in? And, we have to actually wait to the harvest time because the ingredients are so fresh that a lot of times we're saying, oh, we're running low on our high energy organic power greens. And we go out to get the wheatgrass, the oatgrass, the spirulina, green spinach, moringa leaf, chlorella, broccoli, nopal cactus, green kale, oatgrass, peppermint leaf, all these things you go to get and they say, well, the harvest isn't for 2 or 3 months. So it's one of those things that we want to keep it really fresh. So we can't make a bigger batch so that some of it goes out of date. But at the same time, if we run out and we're waiting and they're saying, well, it's going to be another 5 months till harvest, then we're just out of it.
Wow, that's exciting. I didn't know about that, waiting for the harvest. I think everyone assumes that all this stuff is just always right there, like, for manufacturers to just grab. But if you're buying the high quality and doing it the right way, you have to be patient and wait for the high quality. I love
Yeah,
that.
yeah. I mean, because this is all in stock. Stuff from last year, the year before that is just, sitting in barrels in a warehouse, and you can always call up and get it.
Yep.
And the price goes down over time because the
Oh
energy goes.
yeah.
So when you're actually to put this together, and one of my most exciting experiences with this is that we have down in southwestern Ohio, there's a um, this amazing woman that has a health food store, and she said, I've been taking my greens formula every morning, 7 days a week, every morning for the last 45 years. And she goes, yeah, I guess I can try yours out, but I can't imagine I would ever switch. And so she went ahead and brought it into the store, and we made sure that she had a bottle to test out. And she calls me back just a couple weeks later. She goes, I'm only halfway through the bottle. And she goes, I like this better than what I've been taking for 45 years. She goes, I'm
Wow.
going to promote it to everyone. So I thought that is one of the most exciting things to me because it's not like I've been taking, uh, greens capsules for my whole life.
Right. You're
Uh,
right. So she'll know the difference since she has
yeah.
that reference point. And I want to mention a lot of people listening might think, well, Bert, I throw it into my shake. I throw it into my smoothie because I don't want to swallow capsules. But your capsules are special. So you want to tell our listeners why you take the extra effort to make good capsules?
Well, yeah. There's nothing really wrong with a capsule that has, really high quality powder in it that's made from like beef gelatin. And that's what most people have. It's hard. It's a hard capsule, um, but what we did is that it's made all the difference in the world, even with the energy score in these things, on the subtle energy, to have a completely vegan capsule. Now, when it says veggie capsule, a lot of times that's 60% chemicals and only 40% vegetables. But this one is made with fermented tapioca starch. It dissolves down so quickly that I have to remember when I get busy not to throw a couple capsules in my mouth and then go look for my glass of water. I can't swallow it dry. I know some people can, but
Oh,
I'm
no,
looking
no.
for my glass of water. It's in my mouth and I'm going, oh my goodness, it's starting to dissolve. I don't want all that powder just right there in my mouth. And so it's just the most amazing capsules in the world. Now, if you want to do this smoothie, I mean, we wanted to come out with the same Power Greens blend powder in just with a little scoop that you can scoop it and put into your smoothie. But if you put these capsules right into the blender in your smoothie, it will just go ahead and break it down and do the whole thing. You know,
That's really good. So you don't have to worry about like not getting enough powder out of the capsule, getting messy. Just throw them in. Yeah, I love that. I love that.
and and
Why'd you
and
put
they
the noble cactus in there?
um the this is like gets people from Mexico and Central America so excited when they see the noble cactus. We grew up doing that. It has so many healing factors in the noble cactus that when you add that in, it's just it like activates all the rest of what's in there. The number one ingredient weight-wise that's in it is organic spirulina. So if anybody has any idea how difficult it is to get organic spirulina, and it's the most that's in. Now there's a lot of ingredients. The noble cactus is it just helps activate the kale, the broccoli, all the rest of it. To me, it's just amazing. And when I talk to my friends that are just scientists doing analysis of this kind of stuff all the time, they're just like, how is this even possible that you have a dietary supplement with all these powders that's 100 times more powerful than the individual ingredients? People will talk about synergy, where the
Yep.
sum of the parts are so much, or the whole mixed together is so much more powerful than the sum of all the individual parts. But I don't know that I can totally explain it yet, but I know that it's at that level. And when a person takes it, um,
Well,
yeah,
and I think as humans, we're meant to have that variety. A lot of us live lives where we're just kind of isolating a few different things and just consuming them every single day for years. And our bodies really want that mixture of all the colors and textures and the different origins. And I mean, that sounds like a really, really good formula. And I know spirulina, oh my gosh, that alone, I mean, people have written books just on that one. It's so incredible for you and full of so many nutrients. And Corella, oh my gosh, I suggest Corella almost daily. It's so good for you. But a lot of people can't stand either the look of greens or the smell of greens or the taste of greens. So that's why sometimes the capsule is the most practical thing, just to get it in them. So I love that. I absolutely love that. So how many a day would just an ordinary woman use, or man, sorry, all of us, all of us. I'm sorry. I'm always thinking about me when I talk about like it's a private 1 hour consult that I'm doing with them.
Well, that's what's interesting is that really, uh, the ideal level would be 12 capsules a day, but then the bottle's only gonna last you about a week. So a lot of people
Still
are doing.
cheaper than buying organic produce, though. Still
Well,
cheaper.
I know. I go to the supermarket with my wife, and I'm there going, looking, are you kidding me?
I know.
Look at this
Seven
little.
dollars for one serving. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So with this, some people just take one a day. I've been doing, ideally it would be 4 capsules with a meal. And we just did a new batch, and so we're going to put that on the label saying 4 capsules with a meal, and you can do it for all 3 meals. But it's just, if not, you put the capsules together, 4 capsules, and it's still this little tiny thing, only about the size of a broccoli floret.
Right.
And broccoli is just one of all those ingredients in there. And so you do want to get as much as possible. I mean, there's a good chance that it's going to be a lot more economical with the powder for people that are throwing in smoothies. So we're still planning on doing that in the next year is coming out with it. It's just, again, it's so against our nature to try to come out with something that already exists in the marketplace. But there's nothing that even comes within 1%. I mean, it's 100 times stronger formula than anything else you can buy.
And I
So
know some of that competition, they fill their bottles up with alfalfa,
yeah,
and that is, cheap garbage that probably is more detrimental than any benefit. So I definitely, yeah, keep working on your mission because we need clean products. And speaking of that, I just lost my train of thought. What was I going to say with the greens? I can't remember what it was. Oh, so broccoli sprouts is getting popular again because and they're marketing it with the bottles of sulfur. I can never say the word sulforaphane, and I don't sell it, but I know broccoli sprouts is it's that's in there. So does yours have any of the sulforaphanes in it that you're aware of?
no,
No?
no,
Okay.
no,
Okay.
no. And yeah, the broccoli that we use are the fully grown florets, so it's not the broccoli sprouts. I'm a big fan of broccoli sprouts, um, but we don't add anything like that. And I think as soon as you do, that's where the energy drops. So when people keep saying, well, how can you have a product that's 100 times more energy for the body than these other brands because they have a lot more things in it? The other thing too is that if you don't really have a formula where you're trying to get synergy, which brings the energy up for the person, then it's more like just throw everything in there. I've looked at some green formulas and they've got like 200 different things, and it's like, what, you just ordered everything in, brought it in, and just threw the stuff in there,
Yep.
blended it up, and then it's kind of like, well, it's got a lot of good stuff. But sometimes good stuff cancels each other out. I mean, I've been working with that for 18 years as we use a computerized machine to help people determine what supplements they need, of any brand in their life. When I go out and do my clinical work, um, we find out that you can have something that's wonderful for your body, absolutely the best thing you can be taking right now, and another supplement that's absolutely best you can be taking. You go, that's great. But we take the next step and we put them on the testing plate together when it's hooked up to the person's body. And sometimes it just cancels each other out. And so you'll notice that we have several things in the positive energy booster as far as ingredients. We have several things in the organic power greens, but it's not hundreds of ingredients because you can start adding more and more and get to a point where it no longer does all the amazing things that it did before you started just throwing, extra ingredients.
That makes sense. And Bert, that's why I love
Or
having you on the show because you work with real people. You and your family are using the things. You have really great staff that know their stuff. And, you're working with people to make a difference, not just about the profit, which I love that. And that's why you're on every month. Because there's
Well,
plenty of people in our industry that are just out to sell product and not really worrying about making differences.
Well, what I feel terrible about as far as myself is that we were using a lot of our supplements long before we ever started making it available to the public. And
It happens, yeah.
it makes me feel kind of selfish, but after a certain amount of time, it's like, okay, we're going to do this. And it just, has increased the workload down here tremendously. But I finally thought it's not right that only, that because it's simple, we're the only ones that are doing it. So we're making it available, and the Power Greens blend is just selling faster than so many of our other capsules that are just amazing. But I think it's people feel the actual difference. The store owner I was telling you about that switched from her 45-year brand of greens to this one is
Right.
because she actually noticed the difference in energy and how she felt.
Yep. Well, I mean, when we first got turned on to the cell power and the super silica, it was, I've been taking supplements forever. Like, I've been doing this 40 years, so I guess supplements maybe 35, because when I was trained, it said no supplements. It was interesting. So I but I usually just do them because I know I'm supposed to. It's like, okay, here's my regimen. It's prevention, like an insurance policy, just give the body the nutrients. But when I took your liquids, like I felt something. Like I was like, huh, this is interesting. I feel something. I don't know really quite exactly what it is, but just a feeling of wellness, not like a push. Like that's what I don't like, products that push my body, like where all of a sudden I feel it in the digestive system or in the head, or where weird, it's just a really nice feeling of wellness. So that's what I love. I just, nice feeling of wellness. And we only have like 6, 7 minutes left. So we do have to talk about sleep a little.
Okay.
In your line, like what do you usually suggest? Because I know that with so much on the mind, for a lot of us, it's hard to like just go to the pillow and just like push a button and have a nice solid, 6 to 8 hour sleep. So what are your suggestions?
To sleep well and to be able to fall asleep quickly, which seems to be what everybody wants. It's more like, okay, I've been pushing myself all day, and I haven't really been doing the right things to prepare myself for sleep. Instead, it's kind of like, I don't need to prepare myself for sleep. I just get tired enough and I'll sleep. And it's not the way it works. If you're too tired, you won't be able to sleep. Um, and I experienced that just a couple of days ago, is that I'm on this huge project where I had to work all through the night. I started at 1 a.m. coming into the office and doing things so that I'm not interrupted by phone calls. Nobody's calling me at 1 a.m. So, but if you have enough energy, so the two best products would be cell power drops in your water, number one, because if your body has enough energy, it will allow you to go right to sleep. If you're low on energy, you're going to have to lie there for a while, just closing your eyes, just allowing your body to increase naturally, little by little, bring that voltage up to a point where the body feels comfortable and safe, allowing you to go into sleep mode. The other product, and these are the only two that I would say specifically work on that, would be, well, I guess there are three, but positive energy boosters. I've had more people say, yeah, I had all kinds of energy and I was cleaning my house till 11:30, but then I went ahead and, got in bed and I can't even remember falling asleep. I was just out. I was just asleep. So again, by raising the energy of the body, by helping the adrenals, if the adrenals are out of balance, which now we're talking about 80–90% of the population, it's going to be difficult to sleep. So every time people say, oh, I just have such a difficulty to sleep. And so people are, I think we mentioned this before, people are thinking that when I drink coffee before I go to bed, the reason I can't sleep is it gives me too much energy. No, it drains your energy too much. And now again, it may take 2 or 3 hours of just lying there before your body comes up to a minimum amount of electrical energy flow that allows you to sleep. So
That makes so much sense.
the third item,
It's a good tune. I like it.
the third item would be, of course, the only thing that has a higher energy level in the world than cell power drops is the high energy C complex, the vitamin C complex. It's the only thing, it's now at 7 times the energy of Cell Power, which held the record for over 72 years as the highest energy of any supplement in the world. With the high energy C complex, the vitamin C with all of the other ingredients that go with it. Again, a person can take 2 or 3 capsules right before going to bed and just say, you know, I just had the best sleep. And they wake up rested and they go, I don't usually wake up rested in the morning. And people don't. And so when they're not waking up rested, they say, well, I know how to fix it. I'll take more caffeine
Yeah.
right when I wake up. And
It's
it's
that
like,
vicious
well,
cycle. Yeah. And you're so right. Most of us just drain until like we have to be like sloths going to the bed, like, and then, maybe throw like these, a valerian or melatonin, whatever, like in our mouth, being like, okay, let's pray this works. But you're right. More preparation, giving your body the energy because it knows what to do. I always say get out of the way so it can do what it knows what to do, So that's such a good point. So give it more energy, Cell Power during the day, the vitamin C from you, positive power, super special, and then the positive energy boosters. So, because again, people, this is like real energy. This is not stimulation. This is not like where you're gonna make your eyes get buggy and you're, gonna be freaking out. This is real, true energy that the body needs for all its functions. Bert, this was good. So, I'm so excited about my new store. Oh my gosh. And that's probably why my adrenals are like, woo, it's so beautiful. We're getting, I'm talking to Carrie today, and we're getting all our deliveries on Friday, and we'll
oh,
set up over
wow.
the weekend and hopefully be open for that 28th. I'll FaceTime you or send you some pictures, okay?
That would be wonderful. Oh, yeah.
Yep, and there is a private office. I'm thinking about like maybe setting up the radio station there for myself, but I don't know. I might miss Cliff too much. Who knows? It's fun in here. It's like it feels like family. And then we will in the future, near future, have the wellness center there as well. There's this whole beautiful big backspace that can be made into it. So everyone, if you have any questions, 772-464-3598, That's my phone number. Bert, always a pleasure. Thank you so much. Have a
Thank
great
you,
week,
Joanne.
and I'll talk to you soon, okay?
Okay.
All
Bye.
right. Bye, everyone. I hope everyone has an amazing week, and I might have to miss next week because, I got a lot going on, but I'll talk to you soon. Bye, everybody.
You've been listening to Joanne's World of Nutrition. Brought to you by Joanne's Nutrition World, downtown Fort Pierce, US 1 and Orange Avenue in the Crass Square, across from Fort Pierce City Hall. This is WPSL, Port St. Lucie.